All right, guys, welcome back. Going into the second hour here of RollPlay Swan Song, week 48. Adam, what's going on?
All right. We fade in on, I think, the shuttle. It's landed. The shuttle that Keo is on has landed at one of the nearby spaceports on the planet. There's lots of them, and that crowd of passengers are getting off. The transit between NX1 and NX is like moving between states in the same country. There isn't any like customs involved. It's just that most people, that live on the planet don't also like attend the university. It's a different place, basically, a different city or different state. So there's no real security of which to speak. We see the campus laid out before you, and one of the big statues of the founder out in the courtyard. And so, Kia, you're emerging back onto NX1, and frankly, it's a relief to be back here. Every trip that you've ever had down planet is miserable. The place is a hot, dusty mess, and Vito's in the midst of some fairly heavy stuff right now, and he's always kind of on edge, so being around him isn't great either. So it's kind of nice being out in the cool night air back on NX1. And so we see you moving through the crowd. You've got your luggage with you, so like a probably just like an overnight bag, like a duffel bag, and you've got Vito's case. He gave you a silver metal case to deliver for him.
And what are my delivery instructions exactly? I know who and where and when.
Yeah, so there's a guy on planet. His name's Tony Cardero. His name's Anthony, but he hates when people call him that. He's one of Vito's guys. And you know that they're loosely connected by some kind of like fraternity or something. They're part of a thing called the Order of Bones. It's a bit of like an urban legend on Annex 1. It's a real thing, but they're kind of treated like a secret society. Everybody assumes they're doing like a lot of like secret stuff. You know that like you, Tony is one of the faithful. That's the one good thing he's got going for him. So Vito gave you this case and was like, get this to Tony, put it in his hands. Don't look in it. The less you know, the better. And then let me know when he's got it. But that was before. That was before he called and was like, yeah, there's some people messing around with my operation. The syndicate is onto us. Maybe you should check this out for me.
Right. But the initial thought is that I'm going to get in touch with Tony because he can potentially help me out with the pictures too. So my idea is just to kill two birds with one stone.
Sure. Okay. And do you call Tony or do you go to meet him?
I think I would call or at least message him to let him know that I've arrived on planet and I want to arrange a time.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, so let's have you call him. He's in your speed dial.
Sure. So get out my compad.
Yep.
Speed dial.
Okay. Yeah, it rings a couple of times and then Tony picks up. He's like, Kia, welcome home. How was the trip?
Trip was fine. What you'd expect.
Listen, yeah, Vito's still in a shit mood?
Always. You know how he gets.
Well, we got to once he moves this stuff, he's going to be in a lot better shape. I hear you've come to look into the complication.
You're aware of this?
Yeah, Vito messaged me. We had a talk about it while you were down well.
I wish to ask you about these pictures he provided me with.
Security footage from a dorm.
Have you seen them?
Yesterday afternoon. Yeah, there was an explosion. I can send you the news feeds if you want. Looks like these people tried to hit his old apartment, but Vito's Vito's backup. Well, you know how paranoid he is. There was a big fire. Anyway, they're still out there, and you know how paranoid Mr. Marsh gets when he thinks he's being followed, but he's pretty sure these are syndicate hitmen.
Sort of like a short pause, and I say, listen, where can I meet you?
What, in person?
We have a study group. I've got the notes you asked for.
Ah, yeah. I've been wondering if he was going to send those with you. Sure. Look, I'm real busy tonight. But tomorrow morning, if you're free,
Where should we meet?
he says, he's like, the chapel. It's gonna be out of use for a couple of days. We're doing some renovations. It's perfect. No one's gonna notice we're there.
I'll meet you there at 9, let's say.
Yeah. All right. 9's good.
All right. Take care, Tony.
God be with you, Kia.
To you too.
Okay. And he hangs up.
So I suppose I'd actually go back to my room.
Okay. Yeah. You're a short trip by cab there. So yeah. So maybe we see you getting into one of the university auto cars, and we fade over to your apartment building, like the dorms, and Alfarius and Eric, you are just arriving. Now it's not a like a big scene. There's not like, police cars everywhere or anything, but you do notice that there's an ambulance, like an emergency services vehicle in the parking lot. And there's a group of students outside gathered around, talking kind of nervously with each other.
Do I know if an Axamander has like a psychic department?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's very fully something like that here.
Yeah, totally. I guess like the first thing I'd try to find out is just the name of the professor who's like the head of the department.
Yeah.
I mean, like I just go to like the website or something like that.
Okay. All right. So you're just gonna look up the person who's like the dean of
The department head of psychic studies.
Yeah. So the Psychic Academy is like a for reals thing. It's a proper noun. It exists in a bunch of places. It was founded by Hovadens. And you attended one, Piani attended one. They're all different from place to place, built by their own the culture of the place that they're in, but they're kind of centrally run. So yeah, connections in Hoveda will be able to put you in touch with people in that faculty.
Yeah.
And there's a dean of the Psychic Academy that runs the whole thing, and then there are several there are professors who specialize in biopsionics and precognition. And,
Yeah. Cool.
metapsionics, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I guess I'll just get like the name of the dean and the name of the metapsionicist specialist.
Okay.
So that I can go to students and be like, "Hi, I am a student studying metapsionics with so and so. Would you like to take my survey? It's for extra credits."
Okay. So the professor of metapsionics is let's see, her name is Erica Yamamoto.
Okay, great.
And you've probably heard of her before.
I think she's done good work. She's just a little bit, I don't think she pushes far enough.
Yeah, she's a bit of a conservative for sure.
Yeah.
She has a tendency to look at psionics as a static phenomena, which is something that kind of causes some friction because other people see it as like a mutable thing. But she's got this kind of like unified theory of she's well published and lots of people like her, but yeah. So she's the dean of metapsionic studies.
Okay, cool.
Be enough for you to pretend that you're a student of hers.
Yeah, I totally go. Once I have that information, I probably look this up on the tram over to an Axamander.
Okay.
As we get off, I turn to Alfarius and say, "Alfarius, you and we're studying under Erica Yamamoto, and she's very competent metapsionicist. So we're just doing this quiz, distributing this quiz for extra credit. Maybe you're failing, and I'm helping you."
Okay, I understand fully.
Good plan. Okay, let's go.
Okay. So you want to approach the group of students?
Yeah, is there, like you said, there wasn't like police people or anything, but is there like a medical tent set up or like people like being treated?
No, if there are EMTs or whoever, like the treatment team, if they're here, they're inside somewhere. Their vehicle is just outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Eric,
guess.
let me take this first one.
Okay.
I go up to them.
So as you approach, you notice that they're standing around a circle, and you didn't see it before because it's like kind of dark. They look like they were just clustered together. They're all holding hands. So they're standing in a circle holding hands, and one of them is like praying basically.
Okay.
And you reach the end, and as he's saying like basically they're reaching the end of the prayer, and he's like amen, and they all kind of like mumble. And they awkwardly kind of like let go of each other's hands, and the conversation resumes in a more organic way.
I walk up to them and say, "Excuse me, can I have a moment of your time?"
Yeah, and they all kind of like start a little bit and like look at you. Maybe one of them kind of goes wide-eyed at your like obvious cyborg nature.
And fake cyborg nose mustache.
Yeah.
I have a survey pertaining, to the most recent events. It's from my professor, who is Professor Dr. Miyamoto. Can I interest in handing you guys these pamphlets, and you'll fill them out and give them back to me with the information that I need?
And so they like the students. You notice one of them is actually like a little bit older than the rest. And he's the one that speaks after the students all kind of like look at each other like, who's this guy? What's going on? And he says to you, he's like, these students are, they're a bit upset right now. And he kind of like steps forward to meet you as you approach so that you're having the conversation with him and not with like all of them. And he says, we were just finishing our prayers. I find that spirituality gives students a sense of peace in times of trouble like this. Now, I understand you have a survey you'd like them to do. I'm sorry. Tell me again, who is it that you're here with? And he kind of like looks past you at Eric.
Yeah, I've got like the like flag of an Axamander sort of sticking off of my backpack on the back. I say, "Oh, I'm Eric Fretheim. I'm a student under Professor Yamamoto as well. We're studying metapsionics." And
this guy like very friendly, like comes forward and like shakes your hand. And he's like, I'm pleased to meet you, Eric.
I shake his hand. What did you say your name was?
He says, I'm Brother Butler. You can call me Abraham if you prefer. He kind of gives your hand like a little squeeze, and he goes to shake your hand, Alfarius.
Yeah.
I shake his hand, and I kind of, while looking at Eric, say, "My name is Pedro Cantor Felipez. I'm a student here as well, of equal or slightly advanced age to him, and I am appropriate for what I'm doing."
He just smiles this like beatific smile, and it's like he's like, "Well, I'm pleased to meet you. Are you?" And he looks back at the dorm. Are the two of you? Do you live here?
Oh,
we
live
both are roommates. Yes.
We're roommates elsewhere. He says, well, I'm gonna level with you, gentlemen. These kids are under a lot of stress right now. Something unusual happened a few hours ago, and they're trying to process it. There's a medical team inside doing some testing. It just might not be the right time. Would you be able to come back tomorrow?
Brother Cantor, if I may.
He's Brother Abraham. I am
Sorry,
Cantor.
Brother Abe.
Yeah, he's like, you just call me Abe. It's fine.
Brother Abe, if I may, could I leave the survey with the students for them to complete on their own time? I understand that sometimes after traumatic events, going through in a structured and rigorous way can actually be helpful and healing. Additionally, as a trained metapsionicist, I would be more than glad to lend my own unique brand of treatment if anybody feels like they would benefit from my care.
And he kind of like, he looks at you, he's like, metapsionics? So you think that what happened here tonight was a psionic event?
Well, it's difficult to say for certain, but
what he means to say is we are not further in our studies We only have amateurish information and knowledge, but from what we gather from the Dr. Professor Miyamoto, we believe it to be possible.
What Pedro said.
All right, he says, actually, let's see how he responds to the two of you. Eric, make a persuade check, and
Is Alfarius helping me?
Yeah, Alfarius is it remains to be seen whether Alfarius is helping or not.
Absolutely not.
Oh no! Oh no! It's not gonna be good.
You got it. You're rolling it red hot.
Oh fuck!
Like I said, red hot, man.
Here,
So with the two of them combined, Adam, we have a 9.
He just shoots you right in the chest now. No, so he looks back over his shoulder at the kind of nervous looking kids and he says, well, you know, I'd hate to put any more strain on these kids, and you know how some people get about MES, they're sensitive. You know, I don't know how they're going to react if they start to think that they've been affected by some kind of psychic phenomenon. Now, I personally have no problem with those afflicted by the syndrome. I personally think we're all God's children, but why don't you leave your survey with me, and when I speak with the kids again in the morning, I'll bring it up. We'll see how they're feeling, and if anyone wants to share their feelings about these things at the morning session, then we'll make sure to pass that information along for you.
That is exceedingly helpful.
And he puts one hand on like either of your shoulders, like on your outside shoulder, and he's like, well, good. Well, that's good. And hey, you know, if either of you
I
ever
put my hand on his too. I'm not used to like social interactions.
Yeah. And he's like, look, if you two need anybody to talk to, you ever feel like student life is just, you know, getting you down, I hope you'll come out and attend one of our sessions. And he takes out a business card and he hands it to you.
Yeah. Oh no, I only take it immediately. I say, you said there was a session tomorrow morning.
He nods. He says, "Yeah, we have dawn sessions every day. There's also a midday mass and a midnight if you can't make the midday. Now, I don't personally attend all of them. I'm just one man, but we have quite the following here, and you know, we like to provide these support services to the students. So,
Do you think it would be all right if I attended tomorrow? I'm just
yeah, and
I'm very
he's
concerned about the event here, and I'd like to make certain that some of my fellow students are being treated well.
Yeah, he nods and kind of smiles to you, and he says, yeah, he's like, well, of course, I'd love nothing more. There's always room for another in the flock.
Oh, okay, that would be great. Can I just do you just email me the address or something?
He says, well, if you just take a look at the card, it's got my office in there, and you can just come by tomorrow. We start mass at 8:00.
Okay. I'll do my best.
Okay. And so he like, I guess, are you leaving or?
I think like first I transfer the
sure
to him. You just
Who breaks contact first, Adam? Because I just leave my hand on his.
He takes his hand away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nothing about it is awkward. Like you're I mean, for him, he doesn't seem to be affected by it. Like he's just like, yep, you're a little weird, but that's okay.
Cool.
Takes all types.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like, it's all right. Whatever you're like, I accept you.
Well, I adorably like blink with my black pupils, cartoon frames.
Okay.
Cool. Right on.
Eric, we should continue to hand out these pamphlets, as it is utmost important that we retain information and not just secure people that, when they're emotionally stable, will fill them out.
Okay. Maybe we can go in the building.
From what I can tell, it's very easy for us to enter that building.
Yeah, it's
Here we go.
essentially public space. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're just gonna go. You pass the group and go inside.
Yep, totally.
All right. Yeah. So he turns around and goes back to the students and just starts like talking to them again because they're like, oh, who are those men? And he's like, oh, just, you know, a couple of interested folks, fighting fellas. And like as you walk by, his like speech sort of fades.
Nice.
And you head inside. So I think like at this point we probably see a car pull up like a little ways away. As the two of you go into the building, a car pulls up, and Kia, you get out. You see the same thing. You see students gathered around. You see Butler. You know this guy, right? Abraham Butler is like a close friend of yours. You see him talking to some of the students when you get out of the car. It's probably like, it's not like the middle of the night, but it's late. And you'd expect most of these people to be inside. There's this kind of like,
I
like
mean,
I was
but
describing.
I'm at least aware that this incident happened, so I have some insight, right?
You know, I don't think so. Like, you don't know that anything happened at your building. Like, there's
Great.
just a weird tension, and there's people outside.
Then I'm just going to kind of approach Butler and Brother Butler.
Yeah, and so as you approach, he sees you coming up, and he turns around and he's like, Kia, and like walks over and like gives you a big hug, and he's like, Vito didn't say you were coming back. It's so good to see you. How was the trip?
The trip was fine. Everyone wants to know about the trip, but can you maybe take a few moments and perhaps fill me in on what has happened?
I can, absolutely. And he turns back to the students and he's like, all right, everyone, we'll see you tomorrow morning, and kind of like gently like nudges them to go back to bed. And he turns back to you, and his countenance changes a little bit. Like, you know, Abe's jam is being the like kindly pastor kind of guy. But he's also like, he's one of Vito's business associates. So once the kids are gone, he kind of puts on business face. And he's like, so Vito told me about the syndicate. I'm taking what he says with a grain of salt, but, well, what do you know? Problems with Vito. The money's still good, though. And once you and Cardero get this thing sorted out, we'll be able to go ahead with it. And he kind of like glances back at the building, but there's been a complication. Now, I don't know. I've been asking questions. I don't know if it's related. They said they saw some stranger walking around. One of these kids said they saw a robot. I don't know. They're all real confused and upset.
What do you make of the pictures?
Well, what do you mean?
Do you believe it's the syndicate?
If it's anybody, almost certainly. Like, I told Vito they were going to figure it out. He can't just cut ties that easily. Like, I know he's a greedy man, and I know that his plan is going to earn us some money, but I think kind of puts his hands up. He does this gesture like, you can't control Vito. I can't. You certainly can't do it.
You know, sort of like contemplating all through it. Brother Butler, do you believe we're in danger?
He laughs. He's like, do you mean that in the physical sense or in the immortal soul sense of the word? Because, I mean, physically, we're always in danger. That's part of the deal with working with Vito.
Is it possible none of this is related?
I don't know. These kids don't remember anything. They said they blacked out. At first, I would have thought, you know how these kids are, easily influenced. But it seems like there's some realness to it. There's something. This story, I don't know. Maybe they know you better than they know me. Maybe you ask around.
I shall. Meanwhile, I do meet with Tony tomorrow, but until then, if you do hear anything, I'd appreciate it if you'd let me know.
Of course.
Brother Butler, would you pray with me?
He nods. Of course. And he takes your hands.
I take his hands. Lord, Savior, new prophet, may you light our path and show us exactly who may be putting our plans in danger. For we hear your broadcasts eternally and know you will show us the way. Peace. Amen.
Amen. And he like smiles at you and he says, I know these things can be hard, Kia, and I know it's been, I think shakes his head, it's been a long couple of weeks, but think about what we can do with that money. Think about the receiver we can build. Think about all the things we'll hear.
Perhaps when things are a bit less hectic, I'll show you the draft of my new plans. In fact, I think you'll be impressed.
He smiles and he says, we're lucky to have you, Kia. You're an angel.
And you a saint. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to retire to my quarters and, well, see if I can't do some investigation on my own.
Yeah, and he smiles and he says, if you can make it tomorrow, It sounds like it's going to be a big one. Those kids, they're all real interested, and we had a couple wander by. They seemed interested too. A cyborg. And he laughs and he's like, I don't think I've seen anyone that modified well. Not in a long time. Sounds like the word's getting out.
I'd hope to meet him. You mentioned there was some meetup events.
You know, mass tomorrow morning. These kids are gonna wake up with bad dreams on their mind, I think, and well, I want to be there for them.
I meet Tony at 9. What time is mass?
He says, tomorrow it's at 8. You should have plenty of time.
All right. I'll see you there.
Okay. And so he goes past you, and you head into your dorm. So on finishing reading through the massive piles of stuff that you get presented with, Higgs, what do you do? Like you've read through Piani's notes like over and over, and parts of it make sense, but overall, like it's kind of a jumble. It seems a little crazy.
Yeah, I guess when I finish, and I maybe like rest my brain for a bit after just reading through all that bullshit. I'm just like, hey, Pi, you there?
I am.
Can you run a search for any of this in historical context? How far back does your historical records go on just the universe?
I have access to the Exchange's database of information. Anything that's not secure should be easy to... Oh, that's interesting. And one of the screens like pops up, and Pi starts giving you like basic kind of, admittedly like several thousand years diluted, like Norse mythology stuff, like about like Odin, the one-eyed god, and the wolf that was going to eat the sun, and like these are like kids stories, or like basic sort of like religious studies 101. And then once all this information starts coming up, Pi says, there's quite a lot of correlation here.
Yeah, I'm too stupid to find all that myself. Can you make a list of all of the correlations from Piani's shit to this shit and put that up on the monitor, please?
I can. Let me see if I'll clear it up for you. And so some of the monitors like start to change, and then like a summary document appears. And taking a cursory look at it, you can see where like there's a long history in this sector, particularly of basically like Norse myth kind of being part of the culture. Even in places like Hoveda, these things show up. And the sector itself, Asgard Sigma, its original designate, even though no one knows who named it this, even that is connected to, like, it was the living place of the gods. And so Pi kind of explains some of this to you, and then it's like, so I suppose it makes sense. The imagery is all there. And the eye, well, it came from Sigrid. And Sigrid is culturally all about this stuff. You could ask Eric about it. I think he's from there originally.
Yeah, so anyways, we're not going to talk to Eric. What if you, where would you put Piani in this story? You said the eye is from Sigrid, but what does the eye represent? I'm just like studying the summary.
Yeah. Well, based on everything that I can see, the eye represents knowledge at a sacrifice. Odin, that's this guy, and it brings up this like picture of like an old man with like birds on his shoulders and like one eye. It's like, Odin gave up his eye in exchange for information, a drink from the well of memory. There's some symbology there. Piani took her eye out and replaced it with the one she got from the old man on Sigrid. Maybe she learned something, or was in the process of learning it.
Okay, and in these children's stories, was there someone going after the eye?
Not the eye itself, but
what about
Odin,
knowledge?
Odin and the other gods, see, there was this thing coming called Ragnarok. It was a big battle at the end of the world. It was supposed to be when this wolf, and it brings up like another kind of like very stylized drawing, this wolf would eat up the sun and everyone would die. Viking myth is kind of a downer.
Okay, so I need to find the wolf that wants to eat Piani's eye.
Well, if we're looking for cultural parallels here any kind of significantly voracious entity would do. I'm not sure who the wolf is supposed to represent in this case, but it's not good.
I just kind of like sit back in the chair, study it more. Does any of these symbols appear in that room that we have in the cargo bay? Any of the footage? Do you see any of this Norse?
No, I don't. And that's the interesting thing. If we knew where the eye came from, or with whoever made it, if they had some kind of agenda in giving it to Piani, well, I wish she were here. It would be easier to ask her these questions. We might have to go back to Sigrid, I mean. That's where all this started. But we can't go without Piani. I don't know where she's gone.
Pa, correct my memory. Was I wearing that camera vest when Piani got the eye?
I don't remember when you gave that up, when you stopped
there.
wearing it.
You give it to Prosper at some point?
Someone must have had it on.
There was definitely footage from that because there was footage of Prosper getting suplexed by that lady, and there was the big like Viking party. So yeah, I think that maybe some of that footage comes up on one of the other displays, showing you some of the things from
Yeah,
Sigrid.
I'm just like, zoom in if you can. Granted, I was drunk, so I wasn't really in. I told Piani not to. Let's just state for the record that I told Piani not to do this stupid thing. But if you can, give me an image of this person that was selling it. I remember it was a man. We're not selling it, but who gave it to her. You know what I'm saying? Do we have any images of this man?
I think so. So there's some processing that happens. You see like the video like fast forwarding and rewinding and fast forwarding, and then there's this old man, this kind of guy, and he looks a lot like the picture that you saw before of Odin. So like on one screen there's this like kid's drawing of our kid's picture book of the old man Odin leaning on his spear, and then right next to it, there's this like gray-haired old man. In the background of one of the shots that you got of the Great Hall. So there's like all these people around, there's Sakari and everybody's partying, but like in the shadows near the back, Pi brings up an image and says, I think this is him.
Any way you can tell me who that is?
No, he doesn't appear in any of the databases I have access to.
We got any contacts on Sigrid?
I think Eric's family still lives there.
Always fucking Eric. I just kind of like lean back again. And then maybe I like hit my comms to call Alfarius.
Okay.
Yes. What can I do for you?
Hey, what are you two doing? You still, whatever. It's been a while. I've been reading a bunch of bullshit. What are you doing?
I'm helping Eric hand out pamphlets to hopefully secure some information on whether or not people experience certain side effects with the psychic attack.
Okay. Can you ask, or hold on, I like hit the other button, conference Eric. Eric, is anyone in your family, does anyone in your family kill for a living?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think Eric responds. He says, No, nobody's an assassin or a mercenary in my family. We're all, kind of mid-level politicians mostly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that you have family members who are like your immediate family is pretty like we talked about this before, like pretty blue collar, like they're tradesmen. But you have like a cousin who's a jarl somewhere in the northern reaches.
Yeah.
You probably have like some huskarls in your family, like.
Yeah.
Your family is, which is why you're such an embarrassment. Your family is like part of Sigrid in a pretty like significant way. Yeah, your father's a huskarl for some big deal jarl. Right?
Yeah, I think like there's nobody in my family who's like an assassin or a mercenary or anything like that. But like there's enough political maneuvering and like there's enough of like a warlike culture on Sigrid. It's not really like war, but like ceremonial combat that, my people know how to carry themselves.
They can hold their own.
That's the answer I give.
Yep.
Okay. If you were to, contact one of them and tell them that you need them to go look into something, and perhaps this something would result in a conflict of physical warfare, perhaps, would they be willing to do that?
Oh, yes. Actually, they would not shy away from that sort of thing. Assuming it was interesting to them.
What if I told them it was for Odin's eye? And I kind of just like look up at one of the monitors when I say that.
I think that would certainly interest some of them. Though we might have to contact the women first. They're more interested in religious meanings.
Well, I don't think this is religious. I think this is the real thing. Or at least it holds some knowledge.
The real thing? Mr. Higgins, Odin is a children's story.
Well, that's what Pi said too, but you're not reading what I'm reading right now. Look, I need your your family's number. I got to contact them.
I actually I sent a message to my mommy recently. Why don't I come back and check? Maybe I can put you in touch.
Okay, yeah, you should probably do that. Pretty quick, too.
Okay. We'll finish up here very soon and head on back.
Okay. Just like beep out and say, as far as if he fucks around, if he steals any goddamn crystals, get him to fucking back to the ship. I just like hang up.
Just nods.
Yeah, okay.
And then I just go back to like
Then
reading
turns
all
a
that
not
stuff.
so subtle, like really nefarious eye on you.
Yeah, I think Eric kind of hangs up and he turns to Alferes. He says, "Well, I guess we should head back. Are there like any students like right here?"
I think mostly they've all kind of gone to bed now. They've all sort of like dispersed.
Yeah, all right. I mean, we gave that guy the survey and we're going to go to the thing tomorrow morning. So Eric feels fine heading on back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you head back. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Kia, you get into you go into the building. You head up to your floor, and we see a familiar looking hallway. Right. So you step off the elevator. There's a long carpeted hallway with posters on some like cork boards on either side, and your room is at the far end.
I mean, just head there.
Okay, so you go around the corner to head to your room, and there are two. There's a man and a woman wearing kind of official-looking, like vaguely military-looking uniforms, and there's them, and they seem to be overseeing like a work crew, and the work crew is like loading up a bunch of crates, and the crates have on the side of them property of the Caliphate of Hoveda. And they're like sealing the crates. So there's like a couple of like workers like, using like a rivet gun or whatever to like seal the crates. And when you come around the corner, they see you, and the woman like puts her hand up and walks over towards you.
I guess I take steps forward, really not knowing exactly what's going on.
Sure. Yeah. So she comes up and she says, she's like, we're almost done here, ma'am. Is your room on this floor somewhere?
Ma'am, I believe my room is the one that you and your colleague are standing in front of.
She nods. She's like, then you are Miss Tyree.
That's right, Kia Tyree.
There was an incident. There was a energy systems leak, mildly dangerous. We've had the team cleaning it up.
I'm not sure I understand. So, the source of this leak. What is it?
She shrugs. She says, it's complicated. Deals with the electrical systems of the building. It's not dangerous. Some of the students were affected negatively, but they're all being seen to. You will be allowed to return to your room in just a moment.
I'm like not happy with that answer, and I
Yeah,
actually like no. I start to like kind of head to my room.
Okay. She tries to like get in your way. She's like, "I'm sorry, it's not safe yet, please," and like stands in your way.
I don't know what you're doing in there, but that is my property, and I demand to be allowed into my room immediately.
She's like, I understand, and puts her hands up and looks at her friend and says something to him in Arabic. The two of them have a short conversation, and she looks at you and she says, "It's fine, Miss Terry. We are done now. Now, I have to warn you," and she's walking next to you as you walk to your room, like trying to keep pace with you. She's like, "I do have to warn you that some objects in your room may have been removed for cleaning. We need to just make sure that they're safe. They'll be returned to you as soon as possible."
I want a full list and inventory of everything that was removed from my room immediately.
She gives you this like very predatory smile. She's like, I hate you and you're making my life miserable. But yes, of course, anything. Your privacy is very important to the school.
And I wish to have a contact number in case I need to get in touch with you personally.
So she kind of like sighs and she gives you her card. Yeah, the card has her name on it in both English and Arabic. It appears that she's part of a third party, like it's not a university business card. She's part of like a third party like cleaning organization. And so it gives you like her details, and she says you can get in touch with me personally if there's any problem at all. And she takes you to your room and gestures like, "Go ahead."
So actually, yeah, I go into my room and I just shut the door.
Okay. All right. Can you do me a favor? Can you make a mental effect save for me real quick?
I suppose I can.
Okay.
All right. Oh, that's a save.
Perfect. Okay. Nothing happens at all. You're fine. So you just go into you go into your room, and yeah, it definitely looks like all your stuff, like a lot of your stuff had been moved, but then put back in an approximation of order. Like it looks tidy, and if it wasn't your room, you'd be like, "Oh, it's fine."
What's immediate? What do my eyes see that's immediately missing?
Anything that Eric took, basically.
So
Which is it's a photo of you, a couple media sticks, and then pieces of your computer.
So probably my computer. I didn't.
Your computer being missing, yeah.
So like there's some huffs and maybe just going around. Maybe I don't even notice the photograph right away. And I'm gonna go knock on the door to the gal across the hall.
Okay. Sure.
My friend, whoever that is.
Let's find a name for her. Her name's Anastasia. You can call her Anna. And you're actually both from the same place. She's from Thorkatla originally too. Her name is Anastasia Turov. And she teases you. She calls you princess because she knows about your like background. You like maybe like drunkenly admitted to her you're like the state of your family. So she teases you about it, calls you princess all the time. So Anna Turov, she's the girl across the hall. So do you wait for the Havins to...
I do. I totally look out my thing until they've hauled off the last crate.
Sure. Yeah. The team takes the crates out and they leave.
Then I open up the door and I immediately go across and knock on the door.
Yeah. So it's late and you can hear your voice is something like she's watching TV. And then she comes to the door, she opens it, and she's wearing like an oversized Nika Starlight like t-shirt as like a nightgown. And yeah, she opens the door, and she like squints at you. She's like, "Oh, welcome home, Your Highness. I see you had your servants prepare your room for you."
I kind of like do a look outside the room and then just kind of walk
Just
in.
walk into her room.
And
Okay.
maybe it's like one of these things where I just walk right past her with her back to me, and whether she closed the door, and then I turn around and I say, "You need to tell me everything that happened while I was gone."
She nods and like she actually turns her she's listening to music. She turns the volume up a little bit, and she's like, "Of course, I will tell you everything." And she sits down, and she's like, up until tonight, everything was normal. I went to the game. Brian was there. He would not leave me alone. You know how he is. But and then she looks around and she's like, "But tonight, just before I was getting ready for bed, I remember I got up, I heard a noise, something outside, and then darkness. I woke up lying down in the hallway. Apparently it happened to a bunch of people. They said there was a gas leak or something. I was worried the place was not safe, but where else am I going to go? Brian's apartment? No.
How long have these men and this woman been taking things and messing around in my room?
I don't know. I tried to watch them, but the man shouted at me to go back to my room, said it wasn't safe. It's been a few hours. I don't know. I'm feeling very foggy. Everyone is. Your friend, Abraham, was here. I spoke to him. I still don't like that man. He's very strange.
Anna, tell me, did you see anything unusual or anyone out of the ordinary?
You mean besides the cleaners taking things from your room, besides being unconscious and unable to account for several hours?
Before all that.
She shakes her head. No, I don't. There was nothing. It was a regular day. I went to class.
Something's not right. All right, Anna, thank you.
Yes, of course. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. I'll talk with you soon. Peace to you.
And to you, Your Highness. And she like winks at you and closes the door.
How late is it at this point? Like, it's still day, right?
No, it's been like quite late. Like it's not like 3 a.m, but it's probably coming up on 1 o'clock.
In the morning?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess then, although apprehensive, I would go and check on a few more things and maybe just get to sleep to get ready to meet Tony tomorrow and go to mass.
Okay. Sure. I think that so you do like you do a search of your room. And I think that you find under your bed, so you're looking around, you like flip your bed up, like look underneath. There's like a broken, it looks like a light bulb at first, like a flat surface on the front with like a kind of tapered cone shape and then some wires at the back. And like you hold it up and it looks like a light bulb or a camera or something. There's a little piece of like broken machinery and it's like found on the carpet under your bed.
It looks like a what exactly?
It could be like a camera or I don't know. You don't know anything about machines, but yeah, there's like some piece of something the cleaners must have missed.
Okay, I suppose I wrap it as I deem appropriate, not really knowing what the hell this is, and I just kind of store it, thinking there must be someone I know who can look at this.
Mm-hmm.
I'll worry about it tomorrow.
Okay, cool. All right, so you take it away. So I guess the other three, you're all back on the Swan Song now. Met up with Higgs.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think I'm like waiting eagerly for Eric to get back, and so the second he does, I'm just like, Eric, let's go ahead and have that call now. You're muted, by the way.
Eric has become a mime.
Okay. hang on. And like I go to like my inbox folder or anything. Is there any like return message from my mom?
No, there's a message undeliverable response from the exchange. It says this message was unable to be delivered after the third attempt. After the third attempt, we have stopped trying. Basically, it was just like, this is undelivered. Sorry.
Huh. And it's the message that I sent to my mom.
Yeah. It's the message you sent home to Sigrid.
Huh. That's strange. My last message wasn't able to be delivered. Is there a problem with the exchange network?
I don't know, Eric. I don't think so. Do you have someone else we could message? Because that's off. Did you forget the number?
Well, I mean, if it's not going to go through to my mom, then it's not going to go through to anyone on Sigrid. There must be some sort of hub that's either down or not communicating.
So Pi says, I can put you in touch with a local exchange office. They might be able to give you more information.
I think that might be good. That's worrying.
I'll connect you now. So there's like basically a ringing, several like beeps, and then and then a woman's voice clicks in over the comms, and she says, NX1 exchange server.
Did we ever decide a name for my mom? I think we did.
Yeah.
Martha.
I think so.
It's Martha.
Why
yeah.
did you say that name, Geoff?
Is it mom too? God, did I totally?
I can't remember.
What on earth?
I think as you guys are having this conversation too, Alfred says, in searching your logs, it's also clear to me that a former passenger on the ship, Mr. Sakarian, had pretty close ties to Sigrid as well. Isn't his personal bodyguard from there?
Yep, Olaf Olafsson.
Perhaps you can ask him for assistance.
Okay. All right. I haven't talked to Sakarian in quite some time. That would be an interesting call. Eric, you want to go try to talk to whoever you're going to talk to, and I'll give old Sakarian a call. See if that's the thing still.
Yes. Yep. No,
Okay.
no problem.
All right.
I guess-
I'll be in my quarters. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, I think my mom's name was Aslog.
I think so too.
Did you say Aslog?
Yeah.
Aslog.
And someone said my dad's name was
It
Carl.
was.
I think we've
Yes.
all had some experiences with Aslog before.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, man. So Aslug Fredheim is your mom. She's the shipwright.
Yeah.
And then your cousin Torbjorn and your dad's name is Carl. Okay.
Curl.
Yeah, so I just on the phone with this exchange operator, I say, yes, I'm trying to contact Aslog Fredheim on Sigrid, and I sent a message a few days ago, and after 3 attempts at delivery, it came back undeliverable.
Yeah, we've been having problems with the comm satellite in that system. There's been no data in or out for some time. I'm sorry, sir. I can't give you any more information than that.
How long precisely has data been shut down? Because I just got a message from her very recently.
Do you have a timestamp on that message?
Yeah, I pull it up on my pad and I read off the timestamp.
Yeah. She says that that makes sense with our records. It's about the end of the comms protocol. These things, and she puts on this. She takes a breath, and you can tell she's about to say a thing she said about 1 billion times. She's like, the way communication works with our satellites is they tend to queue up in advance, and then we deliver them as is. And you've heard all this before. You know how the system works.
Totally.
And she's like, that group was part of the last batch. I can put you on a list, and we'll get in touch with you if there's any updates. But right now, we're having to send ships out to investigate.
I understand. I know a ship that might be able to investigate. Is there a reward for bringing you information?
Well, I wouldn't call it a reward, but we do often contract out to civilian ships. I mean, that's how the mail gets delivered, right?
Could you leave me the number for the office I would call to be put in touch with that decision?
Of course. Yeah, it's not going to be local to NX1, but I'll send you the information. You can get in touch.
Thank you.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. So I
Yeah, so
kind of hang up.
Yeah, she redirects you to a page that's like employment opportunities with the exchange. Become a postal ship today, and like all this stuff about like how you can retrofit your computer for picking up additional data, right? Like walkthroughs on how to reformat your core of your computer system to give more space to the exchange, that kind of thing.
Okay. So, yeah, no information going in or out of Sigrid. Possible to enlist with the exchange. Okay. Cool.
Cool.
I mean, like, the next thing I would do is go to Higgs and be like, well, there's no way to talk to Sigrid, but we could, they could pay us to go there.
Well, I think as he's making that call, I try to call Sakarian or get a hold of him.
Yeah, so
Maybe he left me like an emergency number or something like that.
I mean, yeah, maybe like so Geoff, when Mr. Sakarian left the ship, did you leave something with Higgs where you're like, if you need
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was kind of the whole thing, is he had real personal ties to everyone. And
Sakarian, like Mr. Sakarian got moved around a lot because you'd be on the flagship for a while and then you'd be on various planets. Sakarian's been a real busy guy in the last couple of months, so you'll be able to send a message to him and it'll bypass all of the usual time it would take to get through the Pfotenhauer chain of command, but it will still take time to get a response back because space travel and the way it works.
Okay. All right, so yeah, I guess I just hit record or whatever the process is, and it's a video message, it's not audio, and so I guess the video starts out, my head's looking down, and then it pops up the camera. It's like, hey, Sakarian, I hope it's going good, taking over the universe, whatever it is that you're doing. Hey, we got a little bit of a problem. Trying to find some contacts on Sigrid. If you happen to know anyone that I could use, a little bit of muscle, probably just looking for someone, and maybe a season capture type of deal is what I'm kind of thinking. Let me know. I'm trying to figure something out. We seem to have lost Piani. I don't. She might be dead. I don't really know. We're trying to figure that out. Was he there when we got the eye?
Yeah, I don't think it was. He was very distracted with his training, but he definitely would have heard about it in passing.
Okay, yeah. It's like that eye that Piani got came back to fuck with her, I think. I've been reading some weird shit. Anyways, let me know if you can give me a call. I'm here on this fucking moon. It's really the worst. It's university. It's just the worst thing of all time. So, yeah, let me know. I'll answer the call if it's you. So yeah, I'll talk to you soon, and hope everything's good. I just hang up.
Okay.
And maybe that's when Eric comes in the door.
It's one of those conversations where you accidentally say "I love you" at the end, and you're like, "No shit, recall, fuck." Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so then Eric comes through the door at the end of that.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Mr. Higgins, it sounds like there's been no information in or out of Sigrid since just after my mother's message reached me, which is, I have to confess, it's a little bit concerning. Her message spoke of some strange problems on the planet, something to do with various Jarls battling. Anyway, it sounds like the exchange is potentially interested in hiring independent contractors to help get information into and out of the system. If we go to this, and then I just wing the website over to you, if we go to this site, we could potentially sign up and make some money for going to visit.
Eric, I'm sorry about your mom. We'll get there soon, but I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving this moon until we have Piani. So I'm trying to contact some people and get work done on Sigrid. And once I do, I'll let you know. Maybe I can have them go over and deliver a message to your mother.
Thanks, Mr. Higgins.
What were you? Did you guys get any value about? What were you doing at the university?
Oh, we met a very nice man. His name was Brother Abraham Butler, and he was very friendly. He said that some of the students were feeling very distressed, so they didn't want to be too bothered right now with surveys and stuff. So we left our survey with him, and in the morning, Alfarius and I are going to go to his church service.
Okay, and who do they worship? What is it they worship? What religion is this?
I wasn't entirely clear on that.
Okay. We'll figure that out tomorrow. I'm going to stay up with Pi and try to see if we can find any more connections.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you know about your about Sigrid. Eric, get out of my room.
I just kind of like shuffle backwards until I like bump into the doorway, and then I like shuffle out the doorway.
Yeah. I think I like go over and shut the door. And I'm just kind of like still for a second, and then I just grab whatever's nearest and just like throw it across the room or the room at full speed.
Yeah, like a mug or something.
Yeah, just like fuck. That's where we'll take our break.
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right, let's take our second break. Remember, 3 hours, so the next hour will be the final one for week 48. We'll come back and go into that final hour after this. See you guys in just a bit.